guys? It's Kictor, and welcome back to another Tgcf reading. Feels like you're a little too high. There we go. That barely made a difference. There we go. Who else is burning up? Thank you so much, Robin Aster Magic, for sending Happy Pride. Thank you. Thank you for sending in the gift. Who do we got here? We got Dalette, Robin Aster Magic, Little Patat, CSZL, hello. Annika, Rosita, Kit Poe, hello. Mimikyu, Shaney, The Wizard of Moss, Jaded Chaos, hello, I missed you too. Game night was so fun. Friday night we had an absolute blast. It was crazy. It was crazy. The return of Dula mooching. CC Newbie, Mammon Row, Arwin, Rose City Kimono, Sugar Kiss. Sugar Kiss, how are you doing? Oh, I'm glad that these streams make Sundays suck a little less, Annika. That's so sweet of you. Literally Longa, what's up? Currently kick flipping as we speak. Short King Boo, Legit Garbage, Emma, Katarina Bell, Stupid Author, Stupid Novel, Mirai, Kohaku, and Spark Major! What's up, Spark Major? Italian Opera, hello, hello. Spark Major says, one of my favorite Gartic phones. Yeah, that was, that was something. That was something. Sugar Kiss says, I'm sleepy, but I'm doing good. It's thunderstorming here. I got drenched on my way home. Oof, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I hate getting wet. If my hair gets wet, my day's ruined. I just feel that my hair is so thick that it just stays damp, like, forever. And I hate that feeling. Spark Major says, I am avoiding the art today. Are you? Because even I drew today. That's right, Spark Major. So I think you should draw today too. Local Rogue, what's up? It's so fucking hot. I know, dude. I was just eating a little fudgesicle on my porch and it was so fucking hot. Sugar Kiss says, by the way, the Yowie rave, people were dressed great, but the DJ was mid. Aw, boo, that sucks. That always sucks when the DJ isn't good at an event. Someone was Dancer Shalian though. Oh my god. Oh, that's awesome. Like the like crop top. That's so good. Oh my god. Spark Ranger says, all the sleepiness has left my body. I'm getting on the PC. Yeah! You gotta draw. You can do it. Wizard of Moss says, I'm gonna draw right now. Okay, it's become a competition, Spark. You gotta. Arwin says, Purple Guy X Lobingha Wedding is what made me start wheezing. Oh yeah, we went down a crazy rabbit hole. For anybody who doesn't know, every Friday we do Danmei Game Night, where we play games like Gartic Phone, which is where you write a prompt, and then somebody draws your prompt, and then somebody else guesses what the prompt was. Somebody made the prompt, it was Lobingha and Grim from A Date with Death. And then I thought, instead of it being Grim, it was Thanatos from Hades. So I said Thanatos X Lobingha. And then somebody thought it was Thanos. Like from like Marvel Thanos. So it became like the Purple Thanos X Lobingha. And then from it being Purple Thanos, it became like Purple Five Nights at Freddy guy. X Lobingha. It was really good. Ooh, Local Rogue, have fun thrifting for cosplay pieces. Night Owl, how was your trip? Night Owl says, I got back from Maryland visiting friends. We visited Hershey City and got lots of chocolate. Ooh, that's cool. I love chocolate. Today, I cleaned so much. We watched the last episode of Witch Hat. Scorpius, thank you so much for donating, Scorpius. Scorpius says, can I get some good vibes? Aw, I'm so sorry to hear that, Scorpius. That is so, so terribly sad. Oh my gosh. I give you a big hug, Scorpius. Aw. Send good vibes in the chat for Scorpius, everyone. Good vibes, good vibes. I'm so sorry. We're all giving you a big hug. Moade says, still don't know what Danmei Grimm is from. He is not from a Danmei, but he's from the game A Date with Death, and I played the whole game on my channel. So I feel like he kind of gets associated with our Danmei boys. The game, I think is it still free? It was free for a while. It's a really good game. I would 1000% recommend it. You get to actually date the Grim Reaper, but he's kind of like a silly little boy. He's very silly. It's like he's in your computer, kind of, but not really. He is baby girl, yes. Jonah Scott voices it, yes, but that is like brand new. That just came out super recently. I played it, must be 2 years now. So I actually haven't played it with any of the voice acting in it. Grim sounds like my own voice to me. Oh, yes, Horror Girl says the TGCF comic book 2 is coming out. That is exciting, yes. And Spazzy says, I just started watching Skate. Ah, nice. I love Skate. Matcha Blossom is great. And you like Adam. I also like Adam. He is a fucking freak, though. He is a freak. Yeah. And RA's drawing says, I was at the beach on Friday and I was in line with my cousins at a cafe who subtly talked about stuff in Case File. And I said, who doesn't want a psychotic rich boyfriend? And I got weird looks. Yeah, he was a little bit more than a psychotic rich boyfriend. Psychotic rich boyfriend, but psychotic stands for psychological Ebola. Local Rogue says, my skate is watching Skate my friend is watching Skate currently because of my recommendation, and I'm getting very good live updates from them. Ooh, very nice. My favorite thing to imagine with Skate is when Joe and Cherry were younger, and I like to imagine Joe being in love with Cherry, and then Cherry being in love with Adam, and it just being very, very, very messy. And then, you know, once they realize Adam is fucking crazy, they end up their end game. But like Cherry being like distracted and in love with Adam when like it's like Joe, the good guy, is right there. Local Rogue says, this is factually correct though, right? And like Cherry when he was a like hot punk little fuck ass skater boy. Love that. Yeah, one-sided pining. That's what's up. That's what's up. Joe be pining. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Night Owl, yeah. Matcha Blossom, little plush guys. Ooh, Mimikyu. Summoned for jury duty. If only you were into Ace Attorney, then you could get some sick jollies out of it at least. Kate says Cherry X Adam is a guilty pleasure. Yeah, me too, girl. Also, there's no stream tomorrow, unfortunately, but tomorrow is Kate's birthday. So everybody put some cake in the chat for Kate. Happy birthday, Kate. Happy early birthday by 1 day. I hope you have a great day tomorrow, Kate. Kate says, woo, 31. Oh my god, you are 1 year my senior? Senpai? Shizun? Fill that chat with cake. Fill it with cake. Keep going. I want it to be like the fucking lantern scene in TGCF, but with cakes. Cake, 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 cake. Yay, Kate, I hope you know how loved and appreciated you are in this community, in my household. And I hope that you have a great birthday. And I hope maybe there are some games on Steam you're looking to buy. Also, just got a post, my website if you guys would like to buy a yaoi tank top. Don't you love the skeletons making out and the big text above it that says yaoi so that you know they are gay skeletons. It's not like, you know, at Michael's where there's like skeletons kissing and they put like a bow tie on one of them, so like, you're like, oh, one's a boy and one's a girl. No, these are gay skeletons. They are yaoi coded skeletons, okay? Kate, oh my god, Kate is officially 2 years a member on my channel. Thank you so much, Kate. Kate says, I feel so loved and appreciated. Best 2 years of stream. So happy to be here. And sorry, Stitch, for all the Mpreg Huashuan Friday night. Hey, she loved it, knowing that you loved it. That made her happy. That's so funny. Spark Major says, gay to the bone. That's right. Gay to the bone. You can tell by looking at the pelvis. Well, there's no pelvis in this shot, so you have to tell by looking at the giant text that says yaoi. No heteronormative skeletons in this house. That's right. That's right. So if you'd like to help support the channel, get some new cool merch, join the Danmei Book Club merch train, go to Kickter.com. Well, if you guys want to post anything in the community, do so. I'll check that in like 5 minutes. I'll give it a little refresh. Spark Major says, man, if there was only a way to tell if those skeletons are gay or not. I know, it's kind of tough. Tier Stella has been a member for 7 months and says, got back from Maryland and I'm almost bored. Oh, you are 7 months. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Thank you so much for being a member for that long. Local Rogue says, we're using our context clues here. Yes, literally. Spark Major, what'd you get up to this weekend? Hey, MXTX_Hualian, aka Flower. How's it going, dude? I graduated almost 2 weeks ago, and oh my god, I am so happy to be free, and I'm so glad I was able to catch the stream. Yay! I'm glad you could be here so I could congratulate you, dude. That's wicked! Congrats! That is awesome. Oh, Sienna, thank you for sending some jewels. Thank you so much, Sienna. That is so exciting. I bet that feels amazing, Flower. That's wicked. And Kate says, I'm not going to post it because YouTube will probably eat it, but for those interested, there's only 3 more days to apply to the Turbulent Tide zine. How many applications do you have so far, Kate? Kate says, also, can we talk about what a tragedy it is that they got rid of Hua Chung's boob window on the French cover? I am so sad. I cannot believe that. Thank you again, Sienna. Oh my goodness. Thank you. That situation actually, like, freaked me out quite a bit. The, like, level of harassment that, like, Butch and Elle received, like, such an incredible artist, one of my favorite artists in this community, was, like, fucked up. Like, that's scary. Just because, like, there's so many people, like, it's not, like, a small little, like, hate campaign. Like, just the amount of people that were, like, targeting her over that is just fucking crazy. And I'm like, oh my god, like, imagine if someone ever, like, I don't know, wanted to do that for, like, our channel, right? Like, they have the power to, like... Kate says the amount of people who weren't even gonna buy the French edition. Yeah, exactly. They were mostly upset that Butch and Elle had drawn fan art of Hua Chung and He Xuan before. And it's like, it's a fandom. Like, you can draw whatever the fuck you want. It's just crazy. And I have no idea what went down with the actual publisher, but they did change the cover to not have the boob window. And I made a whole video about the boob window and, like, the beauty of the community. Literally, like, Spark Major says fandoms suck. It's like, fandoms suck balls, and fandoms are also amazing. Because in the video I made about the boob window, the whole video is basically me going through other people's arts of, like, being inspired by the boob window and giving it to Hua Chung. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's literally, like, why we can't have nice things. MXX Flower, did you hear about Chang Yan? Oh, yes. Yes, she deleted all of her art, right? That's fucked up as well. Yeah, like, the bar is so low to get the hate train, because she drew art where Shailian or Hua-Chung looked too feminine or something, right? It's just like, it's scary. Jaded Chaos says, can't have a paradise without a hell. Just like the anime, Hell's Paradise. But then again, sometimes I'm just like, just take a break from Twitter. Like, you know, because we are not artists. I mean, most of us, like, working professionally with the medium. It's like, just take a break off of Twitter. Talk in Discord with your friends. Come to my channel and hang out. And you can say whatever you want. It's like, you can really get bogged down with the toxicity online. And you just need to, it's like Twitter can be so great. It can be the best thing ever, but it can also just suck balls. Yeah, I know. It sucks. Yeah, Moss. I have not engaged with anybody on Twitter in years. And, like, when Tgcf was first coming out, I was super active on Twitter. It was fun until it wasn't, man. I've also had my time of being insanely hated on. Whoa! A little butterfly. Thank you, Reina. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Moss. Sometimes I worry about even retweeting stuff. Like, I mostly just like stuff now. It's like, this is for my own little personal alcove of art. I should be fucking saving art and printing it out. Alright. But, talking about a safe space, let's go to the community. Let's go to the community. And hopefully there's lots of fun fan art and stuff. Aria's Drawing says, I don't have social media right now. All I have is YouTube, and I like it here in your community. It's nice and sweet. Yeah, right? Hell yeah. That's makes me so happy. Okay, let's see. Kickdoors community. Ooh, Short King Boo, thank you so much for donating. Let me read that in 1 second here. Short King Boo says, work has put me through the ringer today, but good news, I found a clinic that's able to put me on HRT. Insurance billing. Hey, that's awesome! Oh my gosh! Congrats, that must feel amazing to hear. That is awesome, Short King Boo. Thank you for coming here to share the news with us. That's wicked. Okay, let's see what we got here. Literally Longa says, forgot to post, but I taught myself how to bind fan fiction a few months ago, and wait, what? And I had to start with No Paths Are Bound, even though it took 11 entire volumes because it's so big. I just really wanted to have a personal copy. Whoa! That is so fucking cool! Wait, how did you do that? That's so cool. Did you design this as well? This looks very classy. Like, that's an incredibly classy design. Oh my gosh. Also, have you shown Evie this? That is so cool. Wow. Orion's Bell says, you can say the paths are bound. Wow, that's really, really freaking cool. Oh my gosh. Literally, Longa, incredible work. That looks so good. And it looks wonderful on your shelf. I see you also have the art book. And Hua Chung. Oh, Katarina, thank you for sending a flower. And you got some other little standees. Oh, you got the little Wu Ming. Oh, I also really love this art. This classic standee down here. Wow. Literally, Longa, I know you were in the chat earlier. Are you still here? That's just incredibly impressive. That's very, very cool. That's awesome. Horror Girl posting about the manga. Very nice. None of them. This list was created today because of you. And all this? Very nice. Poor guy. Oh, Literally Longa says, thank you so much. I did show Evie and she absolutely loved it. I designed the cover and everything myself. It took about 2 months. Wow. Incredible, like, craftsmanship and art and the vision. Everything just looks wonderful, dude. I really like how that looks. Incredible work. Incredible work. It must be so satisfying. That's awesome. Oh, a little kiss, a little kissing. Oh, they be smooching. Oh, they be smooching. The Hualian. They be smooching. Woo. Very good, very good. And, oh, updated BL manga section. Oh, very nice. Cute. I see Run Wild. Very good, very good. Dollette. Femme MXTX Bottoms. Very nice. Aww. I like the making the heart. That's cute. Very cute, Dollette. Who's getting pregnant? Oh shit, this matchup. Yue Qingyuan and Howl? There's no way Yue Qingyuan's gonna beat Howl! The amount of people that know Howl versus Yue Qingyuan, that's crazy. That's so fun. He won?! No fucking way. No way! How many people voted? That is crazy. Orion's Belt, thank you for being a member for 17 months. Orion's Belt says, using my message to say somehow Yue Qingyuan keeps winning the Tumblr mpreg polls, so people keep drawing him pregnant. It's epic. Holy shit. That is so funny. What? 4,500 votes so far. So has it just become a meme to, like, make him win now? I'm like, Scumvillain's not that popular, is it? Like, I know it's popular, but compared to Howl... I guess maybe some people don't want Howl pregnant. That's hilarious. That's so... The kids these days, they know more about Scumvillain than Howl's Moving Castle. That's hilarious. Wow, that is so funny. I was not expecting that. He is the only remaining Danmei boy left, so that is probably contributing. Ah, okay. Okay. Well, who is... Wait, who's next? Need him pregnant dash poll. Oh, Sugar Kiss, thank you so much for sending 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Sugar Kiss. That's amazing. Thank you. Welcome, YMPS, Rose Jelly, Heaterins, Just Call Me Callie, and Fish Like Cat. Wow, thank you so much, Sugar Kiss. That's so nice of you. Welcome, new members. Oh my gosh. Okay, am I gonna have to sign in for this? Wait a minute. Propaganda, Yue Qingyuan. The sect leader should get pregnant because the sect leader should be the picture of fertility and virility both. Boost the usage of male childbearing pills, and because the whole sect would go crazy trying to find out who's the baby daddy. I think Yue Qingyuan could benefit from having to raise a child of his own instead of managing disciples, because Yue Qingyuan no longer has a family of his own and deserves one. And this way, perhaps he'd be forced to care about another person again. His strong and chi-rich body would also have an easy pregnancy and have a strong and happy child. Howl, because he would be such a wet cat about it, and if he's with Sophie, he should do his share since she already cleans so much. Wow. 4,510 votes. That's crazy. Whoa, holy shit. Shit. Wait, this is so funny. Shane Hollander versus Cave. I don't know Arthur Morgan or Moth. Anakin Skywalker and Vanitas. Victor Frankenstein, the OG, and Discord. Gail... I don't know, Dale get here. Paul Matthews. These are so funny. Holy shit. Kane. Wei Wuxian and Jack Sparrow. Holy shit. This is so funny. Goncharov. Oh, some of these names I haven't heard of in years. This is so funny. Jesus Christ was against King Shark. Roy Mustang. Oh my god. Shei Ching Chung was against Emperor Bellos. And he didn't win? I don't know who Emperor Bellos is, maybe. Oh my god. Oh, from the Owl House. Tony the Tiger versus Cherry from Skate. Oh my god, there's people from Glee in here. How do they pick the people? I'm just blown away. Lan Chiran? Miles Edgeworth is on here. Miles Edgeworth versus Sova. Who is Sova? Dr. Pepper. Lo Binghe was against Bugs Bunny. my god. That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. Holy cow. All right. Back to the community. We got Dolette with Lo Bingha, speaking of. No Bugs Bunny in this one, though. Nice work, nice work. Oh, and Ning Ying Ying having period cramps. No! And Chen Ching Cho with the period pads. Yes, there was a canon Scum Villain ad for period pads. I'm pregnant. It's Lanjans. Very nice, very nice. A lot of pregnancy in the chat today. Ooh. Hushwan and Hua Chung chibi art. Oh, the little sharks. That's cute. Wei Wuxian mistaking Lan Chuan for Lan Ji. Oh! Very nice, very nice. Wimpy Shrimp, my latest artwork created while watching Kictor read Tgcf Chapter 6. Oh, that's sweet. Very nice. Pai Ming. See, this is what the community is here for. We got Pai Ming. Shenzhou and Lo Bingha. Izzy says, I've been making these little sticker designs for a while now, and I'm always searching for funny references. We got Angry Grape. Ooh, the hat. That's great. I do love the hat. Evil Tooting. Very good. Bunnies. Oh. Pinocchio. Not Pinocchio Wanning. Oh, shit. That's funny. Duck Army. Very nice. Seaweed dance. Oh. And babies. Yes, a bow on the head. Oh my god, I love the eyes. They're so cute. And Shizun. Oof, it hurts. No, why'd you have to do us dirty? Pinocchio's great, though. Ooh, Peerless Cucumber says, I'm starting my biggest clay project yet, the entire Ox scene. Oh, cool! That's really cool. You gotta keep us updated on that. That's awesome. Also, okay, look at this art. This is official. Look at them in the little boat. Isn't that so freaking cute? Oh my god. Jamie is writing their own Danmei. That is awesome. Incredible, Jamie. Don't be nervous to post stuff. You should definitely talk about your stuff all the time. This is a community where we want to share our arts and lift each other up. That's awesome. Kate says, speaking of Shalian and It Hurts, I have a silly little gift for you if you want it. I bought an extra thingy. Oh, I will never say no to a gift, Kate. Oh my. Vivinos is coming to Canada? Are they? Is it Toronto? Very nice, Wimpy Shrimp. Oh, sorry. Shalian's hat. The boy I have a crush on gave me TGCF cards. Oh my god. Incredible. That's incredible. Wow. It's in Toronto. Damn it. Ooh, RA is drawing part 2 of What If I Were to Draw Inner Illustrations for Danmei. Nice work. Oh my god. The confession back hug. Oh. That's awesome. That is so cute. Oh, yeah. I love that scene so much. It's so good. Can't wait for the new short film. Spazzy has posted the link to their friend's contest and says she's in 8th place. Please help her and vote. The award would help her so much. Awesome, Spazzy. I've noted that. Mountain Soul says a sneak peek of some art I'm making. Oh, very nice. Very nice. I see some ears. I see some claws. It's cute. Oh, very nice. Party poison. Wow, this is hilarious, the Yai Ching Yan thing. And Sylvian Freckles says, I just finished crocheting my MXTX dolls. Oh my gosh! And I wanted to show them off. I've been busy writing for June of Doom this month, and I have a couple of link click stories I'm posting. I'm Sylvian Freckles on AO3 as well, if anyone's interested. Look at how cute these guys are. Oh my gosh. The little fan. Wow. That's so cute. I love their big eyes. Oh my god. You can just hear him saying gaga. No! Oh no! How could you? How could you? He's like, I'm fine. I'm totally good. Ooh, Hannah says, I had a sudden urge to draw Shiwuru x Pei Ming. Here's how the sketch is coming along. What's it say? Did you know what they did? They're so mean to me. I'm just ignore my brother. He is just going to do what he wants. Ooh, I love that. Oh my god. You're just lounging. I ship it. I ship it. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Hannah. She said, let me riz you up. Oh, the ad, yeah. You gotta click close ad. You gotta click the little ad button there. But I agree, it's very annoying. Oh my god. See, this is what you're missing if you're not joining the membership. Oh no, Leo, I'm sorry you also got drenched. Somebody else got drenched in the chat today, too. Oh yeah, did everybody have a good Father's Day? Did anybody buy their dad Tokyo Treat in Sakurako? Use code KICKTER for a discount? Robin, are you in the chat? I saw this when you posted it. This is so impressive. Like, this is like the full storyboard of Shailian, you know, getting in the bath and Chwenny Jen's passed out on the ground. Like, this is awesome. This is incredible. Animation is so cool. Yeah, you can post GIFs. Yeah. Hey, Spark Major, you can post GIFs. Ooh, very nice. Oh, nice. I like your shizen. Wizard of Moss says, as soon as I blow all my money on Anime Midwest, I'll buy a Sakura or Tokyo Treat box. Yay! Aw, thank you. Spark Ranger says, I can share that animation. Yes, you should! Please do it. Oh, very nice. And we are all caught up. Wonderful. All right. Kate says, I'm going to move somewhere more comfier so I can become a potato. Well, along the same vein, I'm going to go get a giant cup of Kool-Aid because I'm an adult and I can do that. So I'll be right back with my Kool-Aid. Guess what color it's going to be. Spark Major. You gotta guess. I showed it. Damn it. I was trying to be sneaky. Who guessed red? Who guessed red first? Wizard of Moss! I cheers to you with my cutie little glass cup that Stitch got me. Katarina also guessed red. It's so good. It's like the little ones that you squirt. Psst. Short King says, I didn't guess, I knew. CSCL with the recap. Thank you so much, CSCL. Oh my gosh. Recap says, Shalian and Banyue try to cook Peiming Jr. a meal. Huachong grows a little bigger. Peiming questions Huachong's Mount Tonglu knowledge. Source, he's a supreme ghost king. Source, shut the fuck up, I know more than you. And laugh or cry counter 27.5. Oof. Yes, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, we're at an interesting part. We're at the Mount Tonglu part. I don't remember a lot about this part, so I'm really excited to keep reading. And keep reading we shall. And Chuya wants a hug. Yes, I'll give you a big hug. I gave it extra little pats on the head there. Kunk, kunk, kunk. Red Kool-Aid has red 40, so be careful how much you drink of it. I don't think whatever poisonous thing it has, I don't think they sell that in Canada. I don't think. But also, if red 40 is what takes me out, so be it. All right, let's jump in. I'll have died hydrated. Remember, they don't let us have Baja Blast in Canada. Spazzy says she has 3 days to get to first place or she's out. I'm so nervous, I'm actually losing sleep. She has horrible health and the money she would win would help her afford treatment. That's about Spazzy's post about their friend in the contest in the community. Spark Raider says, I might go to Taco Bell just for that. Oh, Spark Raider, I love the Doritos Locos Tacos. I don't like the Supreme one with, when they put, like, all the extra stuff on it. I just like where it's the Dorito taco and the meat and the cheese. It's so good. That is my favorite. All right, let's jump in. We're in the middle of chapter 79, so we're on page 166. Kate is a Taco Bell virgin. I know there's not that many here, right? Okay. Shalian didn't turn around. What's the name of this ancient kingdom? Sanlang, do you know? Huachong didn't turn around either. His hands were clasped behind him. The kingdom of Wu Yang. Listen up, everyone. If you're a TGCF newbie, this is interesting, important information that people don't talk about a lot because it's like a big spoiler or whatever. So now we are encountering the best of the plot. So listen up. Your Highness? Your Highness, do you have an antidote or something? You can't just kill someone and not bury the body. And you! Peiming admonished Banyue. Is this how you cooked for him? What's with this snake? It's still moving even after it was cooked for so long. Is it a spirit now? Banyue seemed to be ceaselessly kowtowing in apology. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's indeed turned into a spirit. I didn't know how long a spirit would need to be cooked for. I'm sorry. Shalian propped up his cheek with one hand and thought, I'm ignorant and ill-informed. I don't recall ever hearing this particular kingdom's name. How ancient is it? However, as soon as the words left his lips, he wasn't so sure anymore. Wu Yang, Wu Yang. Just like Wu Yang. It did sound foreign without context, but when he thought deeply, he felt that he had heard someone utter that name a long, long time ago. The details aren't clear, Hua Cheng said, but it must predate the kingdom of Shanle. It's likely at least 2,000 years old. Shalian scanned their surroundings. I have to sneeze so bad. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Ugh. Holy shit. I feel changed. I feel changed after that sneeze. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's all the red 40. Oh, fuck. It's leaving my body. Okay. The buildings don't look like they're a millennia old. Naturally, Hua Cheng replied, like the smug little smart bastard he is. Mount Tonglu's perimeter isn't open most of the time, so it's like they're sealed in a massive mausoleum. Since they're isolated from the outside world, they of course remain in pristine state. Shalian bowed his head and grew pensive. Pei Ming finally let Pei show to his own devices and came over. Lord Ghost King sure knows everything, but isn't this information a little too wild to believe? Might I ask what your source is? I've never heard a single word about this on the outside. Hua Cheng didn't look at him. And might I ask General Pei something? What kind of person could enter Mount Tonglu to gather this sort of information? Logically, any ghost could, Pei Ming said, but if they wished to obtain a wealth of valuable information, they would have to gather it over a considerable amount of time, and taking Mount Tonglu's rules about slaughter into consideration, your source would have to be a powerful individual. And after gathering that information, what kind of individual could emerge from Mount Tonglu? Hua Cheng asked. They would have to be a supreme ghost king, like my lord, Pei Ming said. So I gathered the information myself, and there won't be any words spared for you to hear if I'm not the one saying them. Hua Cheng finally turned his head to look at him, and his tone became slightly mocking. Perhaps for a heavenly official of the upper court, keeping a secret is more difficult than passing a heavenly tribulation, but that is not the case for me. Boom. Roasted. ... Thank you now, 13th. I'm trying. I feel like I can hear their voices in my head sometime. He wasn't wrong. If a heavenly official in the upper court had stumbled upon knowledge of such importance, not even 2 hours later it would have spread to excited and open discussion in every spiritual communication array. Yet Hua Cheng had kept this under wraps for centuries, never selling it to anyone or boasting about it. It showed the magnitude of his ability to play things close to his chest. I get it, Pei Ming said. It appears that when it comes to His Highness, Hua Chengzhu is all-knowing and will tell him all that he wishes to learn. That's not right, Shalian suddenly said. Everyone turned to look. Pei Ming being like, oh, so you'll tell your little fucking boyfriend these facts, but you won't tell anybody else? I get it. Like, Pei Ming has fully picked up on the scent that Hua Cheng is, like, pining and in love with Shalian. Which is great, because I don't think Shalian fully has yet. That damn special someone. Shalian had been thinking hard for a while, and now his right hand folded into a fist and lightly tapped his left palm. I said that I hadn't heard the name Wu Yong before, but I was wrong. I have heard that name. Hua Cheng became a little serious. Gaga, where did you hear of it? Shalian turned to address him. When I trained at the Royal Holy Temple of Shanle in my youth, my master was the state preceptor. When he first took me in as a disciple, he told me a story. It wasn't actually a proper story. It was more like he was trying to instill some grand, glorious, legendary imagery in Shalian's young mind. Once upon a time, there was an ancient kingdom. In that kingdom, there was a crown prince who was ingeniously talented, intelligent, and clever. He was skilled in both martial and literary arts. He was a scintillating character, the kind that would only appear once in history. He loved his people, and his people loved him. Even long after he died, his people never forgot him. My child, I hope you will become a person like him, the state preceptor said, solemn and tender. Oh, if you know, you know. Oh my God. Young Shalian sat there poised and proper, and he said without thinking, I don't want to become a person like him. I want to become a god. That's hilarious. If that crown prince really was amazing, as you say, how come he didn't become a god? Young Shalian went on. ... If the people really never forgot him, then how come I've never heard anyone speak of this crown prince before? Young Shalian continued. ... Shalian swore that he had never intended to be provocative or rebellious when he raised those questions. He was genuinely curious and looking for answers to his queries. However, when the state preceptor heard him, his face turned quite the shade. Why could Shalian recite Tao Te Ching forward and backward as if it were a simple feat? Because the state preceptor made him transcribe Tao Te Ching 100 times that night to do good by its name and cultivate both the body and mind. Shalian sincerely suspected that if not for his status as the honorable crown prince, the state preceptor might have had him kneel on nails as he wrote. Damn. Oh shit. In any case, every word of Tao Te Ching was deeply burned into Shalian's brain after that incident, and a faint impression of the crown prince of Wu Yong also remained. Shalian had always enjoyed reading, but he never had once come across records related to the kingdom of Wu Yong in any old scrolls, so he figured the story was something the state preceptor had fabricated on the fly to educate him, or perhaps the state preceptor had played too many games of cards and mixed up some of the details. However, he didn't feel the urge to blow his cover, nor the urge to copy Tao Te Ching another 100 times, so he didn't take it seriously nor to heart. Your Highness, it sounds like the state preceptor of your Shanle had quite the background and was very knowledgeable, Pei Ming said. Might I ask what happened to him? After some hesitation, Shalian replied, I don't know. After Shanle fell, there were many people who I never saw again. Just then, he felt something tighten around his ankle and froze. Who's there? He was about to stomp and break the bones of whatever it was, but he looked down first. He breathed a sigh of relief. General Pei Jr., what are you doing announcing yourself like this? That was close. I almost ruined your hand. The hand did, in fact, belong to Pei Shou. His entire body was sprawled on the ground, face planted in the dirt. His arms were outstretched, one hand gripping Pei Ming and the other Shalian. The two of them crouched to hear him speak. What are you trying to say? Banyue was still holding the cooking pot. I don't know. Pei Shou Gaga has been crawling all over the ground, and it seems like he's discovered something important. Oh? Pei Ming was amazed. You managed to detect something even in your current condition, as expected of little Pei. So, what did you find? Pei Shou loosened his hand's grip and pointed in a direction. Shalian looked where he pointed. These are, Shalian said. The group all gathered to examine them. Ox hoof marks. Pei Shou finally lifted his head from the mud. These are marks left behind by Lord Rainmaster's guardian steed, he croaked out. Pei Shou Gaga, your sentences are broken, Banyue remarked. I'm all right, Pei Shou replied. Lord Rainmaster, Lord... He was stuck on the word Lord and could no longer continue. Could he have been poisoned by a scorpion snake? Shalian wondered. The poison doesn't work like this, Banyue said. The Rainmaster has already run into the black-clad man in the west and fought him, Hua Cheng said. Really? How can you tell? Shalian asked. Hua Cheng was about to speak when Pei Shou, whose speech was now fully broken, extended a shaky finger and started to write on the ground. Out of some odd sense of respect, the group gathered to watch him. The words battle formation were scrawled in crooked characters by his finger. Once he was done writing, it was like he had exhausted the last bit of his energy. He clenched his hand into a fist and moved no more. Hua Cheng looked back up. That's it exactly. The Rainmaster's steed is a black ox transformed from one of the golden beasts on the gate knocker of the Kingdom of Yushi's Royal Cultivation Hall. The steed is usually steady and leaves no trace when it walks, but it changes form when it enters battle, and this hoofprint shape is different from its normal hoof marks. It's much bigger. Lord Ghost King is shockingly well informed, Pei Ming commented. Hua Cheng pointed at the marks on the ground and continued to speak to Shalian. Gaga, look here. Shalian moved his head closer. Yeah, you're right. These hoof marks show up very abruptly, so the enemy must have caught them by surprise. Yeah, Hua Chung said, and the mark is deep, so it's obvious the enemy was strong. The ox grappled the enemy with his horns and was pressed into the earth during the confrontation, at least half a dozen centimeters. They simulated the fight scene that had occurred, and Pei Ming also didn't back down. Oh my god, who gets to act as the ox? But in the end, it was a draw. That's right, Shalian agreed. There was no trace of blood nearby, nor ghost chi dispersing in the air. It appeared that when they met, their match was quick and fierce, but they both abandoned the fight once they found the other too tough to handle. Hua Chung informed them that the movement of the creature in the east had changed direction, and the group continued westward, though at a slower pace. Soon they came upon a peculiar-looking giant building on the side of the road. Looking at it from afar, it was more impressive than all the other houses around. Even though some of its enclosures and eaves had collapsed, it was still a sight to behold. Shalian unconsciously paused in his steps. What is this place? Hua Chung gave it only a glance. A holy temple of Wu Yang. Pei Ming had one of Pei Shou's arms hooked over his shoulder to drag him along. And how does Hua Chengzu know it's a holy temple? Because that's what's written on it, Hua Chung said. Hearing this, the group looked up. A row of giant characters was engraved on the stone beam hanging before the gates of this building. While worn from age and scratched from strange marks, they were still quite clear. However, after some silence, Shalian said, "There's certainly writing, but he couldn't understand this writing at all. He was stunned that not even something like this could trip up Hua Chung. Hua Chung turned to Shalian. The gist of the meaning is, the eminent crowned prince descends with shining light to eternally protect the land of Wu Yang. Nothing but nonsensical praise. Gaga, look at the last two characters at the end. Don't they resemble the modern characters for Wu and Yang? The mention of the eminent crown prince stirred something slightly within Shalian. Taking a closer look, the row of characters looked like a child's drawings, all circles and curves mixed with odd symbols. However, the word Wu Yang was in shapes and strokes he was familiar with, as if this writing was a variant of his own language. Interesting. Is everybody finding this interesting? This part is like nerdy interesting. Hua Chengzu can actually read and interpret the lost writing of an ancient kingdom. I am truly in awe, Pei Ming said. Hua Chung cocked an eyebrow and gave a fake smile. I stayed at Mount Tonglu for 10 years. Much can be done in a month. If I can't even interpret a few words after 10 years, then what am I doing on this earth? Am I right? Not even the top 10 civil gods in the upper court would dare proclaim such things. So as a martial god, what could Pei Ming do? He could only give his own fake smile. Perhaps. Shalian puffed a light breath. Thank goodness Sanlong is here. I can only translate some rough Wu Yang phrases, Hua Chung said. If we run into anything difficult, Gaga will have to help me. We'll evaluate it together. Shalian felt himself sweat nervously. I'm definitely not as good as Sanlong at this, but was the god worshipped by Wu Yang also their crown prince? Hua Chung folded his arms. I think so, yes. Shalian frowned as he voiced his thoughts. If my master knew of the crown prince of Wu Yang, then he must have also known that he ascended. So why did he tell me that the crown prince died? There are 3 possibilities, Hua Chung said. First, he didn't actually know. Second, he was lying. Third, he didn't lie. The crown prince of Wu Yang really did die, but it wasn't a typical death. If the emperor were here, perhaps we could ask him if the emperor were here, perhaps we could ask him if he knew of this kingdom, or of such a person, Pei Ming said. If the emperor were here, perhaps we could ask him if he knew of this kingdom, or of such a person, Pei Ming said. Unlikely, Hua Chung replied. The kingdom of Wu Yang disappeared over 2,000 years ago. Zhang Wu is a youngster in comparison. They're of completely different generations. Zhang Wu is Gen Z. Junwu ascended around 1,500 years ago. He was a famed general of a warring era who later proclaimed himself king. After ruling for some time, successfully became an immortal. As the top martial god who had ruled for over 1,000 years, his background was completely out in the open. As for the generations Hua Cheng spoke of, he was referring to the dynasties of the heavens. Junwu was the ruler of the current heavenly dynasty, and hundreds of heavenly officials formed the current upper court. The gods and government that preceded them belonged to a different generation. Just as regimes changed in the mortal realm, the heavenly realm also went through dynastic changes. It took considerably longer, but it was fundamentally the same. New worshippers replaced the old, and so too did new gods replace the old. Sometimes a god's decline wasn't the result of mistakes they made or a resulting banishment. Sometimes it was because another more powerful god appeared, and sometimes it was for no reason other than gradual changes in people's lives and beliefs, and the inevitable irrelevance that resulted. For example, a heavenly official who managed horses was likely quite comfortable in their position. People always needed reliable transportation, and they couldn't very well leave the condition of their horses and carriages to the whims of fate, who wouldn't want their horses to be strong and healthy and their travels safe. Thus, this sort of heavenly official would always see regular devotion. However, what if one day mortals discovered something completely novel that ran faster than a horse? When this new invention inevitably overtook horses, worshippers of the heavenly official who presided over horses would decrease in turn. Heavenly officials such as these made up most of the heavens, blinking to life and flashing by like shooting stars. That is a hilarious little nod there. Shalian predicted the train. Yes, Chang'e. Chang'e. What I'm actually hearing is that Chang'e killed the horse master. Hey, Beep-boop. Chang'e killed the horse master is actually great. If you read Stars of Chaos, just know by the end, this may have been a happy ending for Chang'e, but it was a very sad ending for the horse master. Apologies to the horse god we accidentally got rid of in the Industrial Revolution. You want to know who the god of horses is? Picture like the ultimate horse girl. She is the god of horses. She ascended at 12. Yeah. Peak horse age. Peak horse girl age. Poseidon is the god of horses in Greek. Chang'e fucking killed Poseidon. This was the cruelest way gods declined, because the process could not be reversed. A heavenly official in that situation was destined to watch their own decline until they disappeared entirely, unless they jumped down from the heavens, returned to being mortal, and recultivated a new path, and then ascended once more as a brand new god. Not everyone possessed the courage and fortune to do something like that. The gods of the previous generation had faded in such a way. Some said it was because they caused a great calamity and waged a chaotic war, which was why they all fell from grace at the same time. Okay, listen up, okay? This is what they're talking about, the previous dynasty. So our current dynasty is ruled by Junwu. So what about the previous dynasty? So, the gods of the previous generation had faded in such a way. Some said it was because they caused a great calamity and waged a chaotic war, which was why they all fell from grace at the same time. But nothing could be proven, and it was no longer important regardless. So it's like, maybe there was a big war and then they all just fucking died in it, but no one's sure. A few centuries later, Junwu was born, and he heralded a brand new heavenly era. An endless number of heavenly officials rose after his arrival, filling in the gaps for worshippers. Gradually, the stable upper court of the current day was formed. which meant that unless there was a heavenly official who was older than the 1,500-year-old Junwu, there was no one who could know of the god worshipped in the kingdom of Wuyong or how he had been silently wiped from history. Their group crossed through the mostly collapsed wall that once enclosed the premises and entered the darkened great hall. The old gods gooned too hard. They hadn't gotten too far inside before Shalian noticed something amiss. He had initially thought the great hall was dark because the interior hadn't seen light for years and all its windows were shut, but the more he looked around, the more he found their surroundings peculiar. He walked to the wall and lightly brushed his fingers over it. When he brought them to his eyes to look, he blurted, "This is black," Hua Cheng said. It wasn't that the light was dim, it was that the walls of this immense holy hall were completely black. Based on what I've seen, almost all the holy temples on Mount Tonglu are like this, Hua Cheng said. It was a chilling sight. Why would the walls of a holy temple be painted a hellish black? The color alone would make one anxious. How could anyone worship the divine with a sincere heart when surrounded by it on all sides? All of them are like this? Pei Ming wondered. Rotted away from neglect, perhaps. The houses we passed by earlier weren't black, Shalian said. Logically, those houses are of the same age. As he spoke, he continued to feel lightly around and explore the walls of the holy temple. Not only were the walls horrifyingly black, they were also rugged in texture, covering in terrifying scars like a woman's ruined face. They were also extremely solid. Something clicked in Shalian's mind. This holy temple was burned by fire. How can you tell? Pei Ming asked. Shalian turned around. The walls would have originally been covered in murals. They would have been done with a special type of paint in a very heavy layer. After fire burned them, they would turn black and parts would melt and change shape, and they would feel rugged and hard like this after cooling and solidifying again. Your Highness certainly knows a lot. I might as well be in awe of you too, Pei Ming said. Shalian rubbed his forehead and lightly cleared his throat. This isn't anything to be impressed by. I only know because many of my Crown Prince temples ended up like this after they were burned. After that, the group fell silent. Shalian suddenly remembered another thing. And that stone beam outside. There were scratch marks all over the praise engraved on it. It didn't look like regular wear and tear. People must have slashed at it with blades. Pei Ming frowned. Why would they do that? Because they didn't agree with the words, Hua Cheng coldly replied. That's right, Shalian said. It's the same as smashing an establishment plaque. Banyue was slightly taken aback. So this holy temple was burned down by the people of Wuyong themselves? They fell into silence again. Shalian was about to speak when Pei Ming said, What's the meaning of this? Shalian turned to see. Pei Ming had his left arm raised, and a scorpion snake was biting deeply into his hand. Its tail was also swinging vigorously, attempting to sting him. Banyue was about to kneel again. I'm sorry, I have snakes all over my body. Right as we're like, wow, another crown prince went through the same, ridicule that Shalian did? This is crazy. And then Banyue was like, I'm sorry, I got snakes everywhere. I have snakes in my pants. Shalian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Laugh or cry for the snakes in your boot. There is a scorpion in my boot. Give me 1 second. Gotta get rid of the scorpion in my boot. All right. 28.5. Modern AU, she has an absolute absurd amount of snakes in her house. Yes. That's just so funny. Shalian didn't know whether to laugh or cry and held her upright. Banyue, don't get into the habit of kneeling to apologize. General Pei, how did you get yourself bitten by her snakes? Pei Ming's face was dark, still holding up his arm. He replied, How should I know? I only put my arm around her, and this happened. General Pei, what were you doing putting your arm around her? Shalian asked patiently. Pei Ming fell silent. It was only as he started to contemplate the question that he seemed to notice the problem. A moment later, he answered, Habit. Isn't it normal to hold women in your arms in a dark, creepy place like this, to comfort them and calm their fears? I'm sorry, but I wasn't scared, Banyue said. ... Shalian understood. This was nothing more than a tragedy inflicted on Pei Ming by his own itchy hands. Pei Ming finally yanked off the scorpion snake, but his left hand was already hugely swollen. Give me the antidote, quick! I'm sorry, I already used up the Shangyue ferns I had on me, Banyue said. It's all right, Shalian said. General Pei, you're a heavenly official. Swelling will go down soon enough. Then he turned around and continued to examine the walls. As his eyes swept over a blackened area, he froze. Everyone, come see. There's still a face on this wall. So this is just great, you know, because Pei Ming was like, Pei Shou, Banyue's fucking ugly. Why would you waste your life away for this girl? She's so boring and basic. And now he's the one trying to, like, fucking cop a feel in the dark cavern. Chapter 80. 4 Heavenly Kings Hidden on Darkened Walls. There really was a face. Perhaps the flames hadn't consumed it entirely, or maybe the melting paint had flowed down and shielded the image from ruin. Whatever the case, beneath the tip of Shalian's finger, there was a chunk of an illustration depicting a human face. He began to carefully scratch away the solidified black material. Is your highness really that fascinated by some mural? Pei Ming asked, holding his very swollen left hand. It's not fascination, Shalian replied, but rather that I have a daring idea. Let's hear it, Pei Ming said. We've gotten a rare chance to enter Mount Tonglu territory. While we work to stop the rise of a new ghost king, perhaps we can also find out more about the position itself. For example, who created the role? What kind of power is supporting all this? Perhaps we might even be able to destroy it in one sweep and rid the world of this disaster for good. We'd never have to worry about another ghost king being born. That really is a daring idea, Pei Ming said. But if Hua Chengju never discovered anything while he was here, we'd probably only be wasting our time. I don't recommend trying it in our current circumstances. Hua Cheng spoke up. I didn't make any such discoveries because my talents are dull and my abilities limited. Besides, last time, I was too busy killing. The results will be different if Gaga takes the lead on this investigation. No, I'm the one whose abilities are limited. Sanlong is much more capable than me, Shalian said. ... As if he couldn't listen anymore, Pei Ming tossed Pei Shou over to Banyue and turned to walk outside. I think I'm gonna go get some fresh air. I like how he's just like, this is too gay. This is too fucking gay for me, man. Hey, Miss Rosie, how you doing? It was surprisingly easy for Shalian to chip off a few chunks of the black, hardened substance. He blinked. This can actually be... The hard layer of charred material could actually be peeled off in large pieces. In the short span of those few words, he had already peeled off a significant amount to reveal a human face about the size of a baby's fist. The lines were simple, but the face's expressions was lively, like it was chasing after something. The passion in the eyes was as clear as crystal. The hard black material seemed to have acted as a protective layer on top of the mural proper, and the hard black material seemed to have acted as a protective layer atop the mural proper, and the colors underneath were as vibrant as the day they'd been first painted. Shalian turned his head. Sanlong, let's do this together. Hua Cheng didn't move, but a field of shimmering silver light began to gleam in the darkness. Hundreds of silver butterflies silently appeared, then fluttered to rest on the blackened walls. Shalian heard small chipping sounds as they flitted their wings in unison. Innumerable small cracks crawled across the black walls like fracturing masks. With a crumble, the black material covering the walls completely shattered, revealing the true image behind. It was a giant, colorful mural. Raising his head to look at the wall, Shalian felt chills. The mural was divided into 4 levels. The highest level shimmered with golden light and was crowded with clouds, but no people were present. On the second level, there was only one individual depicted, a handsome young man dressed in white. Golden light surrounded him. The artist had used the same gold paint as the top level. On the third level, 4 characters were depicted. Each of their faces, apparel, expressions, and gestures were different. They were half the size of the white-clad young man on the second level. The 4th level, which was the lowest, was covered with countless figures, and they were half the size of those on the 3rd level. Each of their faces were exactly the same. Their expressions were open and full of passion, worship, and rapture. The first face Shalian had discovered was one of these on the very bottom. The lines of the mural were elegant and mature, and Shalian was stunned for a long time before he found his voice. Sanlong, have you ever seen this before? Hua Cheng's response was hesitant. I traversed half of Mount Tonglu's domain and walked through almost every one of Wu Yong's holy temples, but I swear I've never seen anything like this before. Shalian came back to himself. I don't think this mural is from 2,000 years ago. There's no way it can be, Hua Cheng said. Look at how well the colors have kept, as well as its overall condition. I'd say it's at most 100 years old, or maybe even newer than that. Which meant that this mural had been painted after the kingdom's destruction. Shalian pointed at the highest level. That level must be depicting the heavens, since the law of heaven presides above sentient beings. Ooh, and we get a picture. That is not what I was picturing. Hua Cheng is like a teenager right now. Then he pointed at the second level. This level must show the Crown Prince of Wu Yong. Since the Holy Temple was made to worship him, he's naturally the main subject of the mural, which is also why he's the biggest figure in this painting and surrounded by the same color of light as the heavens. He's only slightly below the law of heaven. Then he pointed to the 4th level. The figures at the lowest level are the smallest, and all their faces are the same. They must be the people of Wu Yong. Finally, he pointed at the 3rd level. But who are these 4? Regardless of their poses or expressions, they're situated above the people of Wu Yong and below the Crown Prince. That means they likely all have the same status. Ministers? Vassals? Or... Hua Cheng took a few steps closer. Gaga, look, they also have a sheen of spiritual light on their bodies. Sure enough, they did. The light radiating from the Crown Prince of Wu Yong was so strong that it far outshone their spiritual light in comparison. The answer dawned on Shalian. They're heavenly officials the Crown Prince appointed after he ascended. Which meant they were the same as Feng Xin and Mu Qing, once upon a time. Shalian made a round of the great hall and confirmed it was only this wall facing the gates that hid the secrets. The other 3 walls were thoroughly burnt from crust to core. Who left this mural behind, and for whom was it left? What kind of message were they trying to communicate? Shalian couldn't deduce much from just one painting. He hummed for a moment, then turned to Hua Cheng. As we continue on the road, let's pay more attention to the other holy Wu Yong temples. I have a feeling that there can't be only one mural like this. Hua Cheng inclined his head. I intend to. The 2 of them and Banyue, who was supporting Pei Shou, left the holy temple. It was only then that Shalian remembered their other team member. Where's General Pei? Pei Ming had said that he needed some fresh air and went outside. Even though they'd dallied in the Great Hall for a good while, he still hadn't come back. Shalian called out a few times, but received no response. I hope he hasn't gotten lost at a time like this. The 4 looked around the small, desolate town, but their search was fruitless. Furthermore, they couldn't use the spiritual communication array in Mount Tonglu. Just as Shalian was beginning to feel desperate, Hua Chung spoke up. Gaga, don't worry. I have a way. He extended a hand in his palm, and there was a tiny silver butterfly which started lightly flapping its wings. It flew around Shalian, circling him a few times. While Shalian thought it was charming, he didn't know how it could help. What? Just then, he heard labored breathing. A few moments later, a man's voice came from the silver butterfly. I never thought I'd see you here, the man said. Pei Ming! Shalian looked at Hua Chung, who snickered. Yesterday, I planted a silver butterfly on everyone. Pei Shou arduously raised his head. So you can use the silver butterflies to monitor everyone's movement without them noticing? As expected of Crimson Rain-sought flower. Don't speak if you don't know how to form sentences, Hua Chung sniped. ... Shalian cupped the little silver butterfly in his palm and called out to it. General Pei, where are you? Who's in front of you? I'm sorry, Gaga, Hua Chung said. You can only listen, not speak through it. Shalian gave it a thought and acquiesced. Fair enough. If the listener's voice could pass through, then it could easily give its presence away to the other party, couldn't it? Soon after, the frigid, exhausted voice of another young man spoke. Ol Pei, a warning of warning. Ol Pei, a word of warning. You'd better not spew any ridiculous nonsense right now. Be careful, or I might start smacking you around. Shalian's eyes widened at that voice. It was the voice of Ling Wen's male form. I see, Shalian exclaimed. So the man in black who killed so many along the way was Ling Wen in his male form. Is it Ling Wen Chanbei who took General Pei away? Pei Shou asked. I don't know, I'm still listening, Shalian replied. On the other end, Pei Ming said, Noble Jay, why the temper? Shut up, Ling Wen said. I told you not to speak. I'm not the one with a temper. It's someone else. I'm warning you. I can't control my body right now, so I won't be responsible for any injuries you sustain by my hand. Who are you trying to scare? We're both in the same predicament. We can't move a muscle, Pei Ming said. Shalian looked up. It's not Ling Wen who caught General Pei. Someone else has trapped them somewhere. Then he pondered somberly. They even suppressed the Brocade Immortal. Who could it be? Are you still wearing? Pei Ming asked. He didn't say it out loud, but everyone knew he was referring to the Brocade Immortal. Yeah, he really doesn't like you, so watch what you say, Ling Wen replied. How would you know what he's thinking? Pei Ming wondered. Honestly, I can't believe you. What's gotten into you, starting trouble like this? So audacious, going so far as to steal from the Temple of Divine Might. You broke your own golden bowl. Which is an expression meaning you, fucked your own steady job. And now you've come running to Mount Tonglu. What did he tell you to do all of this? He didn't make me. I'm the one who wanted to come, Ling Wen said. Ol Pei, stop asking questions. He's getting mad. I can feel it. Pei Ming shut up. After a while, Ling Wen puffed a light breath. It seemed that the Brocade Immortal had finally calmed down, so he picked up the conversation again. And what's with you, Ol Pei? What are you doing coming to Mount Tonglu? And were you stung by 1,000,000 hornets on your left hand or what? That wound looks horrid. Pei Ming's voice was extremely sullen and woeful. Got off to a bad start. It's a long story. Little Pei isn't making my life any easier. I shouldn't have wound up in such a pathetic circumstance, but who could have known I'd be jinxed the moment I arrived? If I weren't injured, do you think I'd let someone drag me to this hellish place? I didn't even see who it was. Can't you specify which hellish place it is already? Shalian thought. Say whether you're in a cave or a house or what, so I'll at least know where to look. It wasn't like there were no clues whatsoever, though. The teleportation array couldn't be used in Mount Tonglu, so Pei Ming mustn't have gone far. Their voices sounded somewhat hollow and echoed faintly, so they had to be somewhere spacious, and Shalian could vaguely hear the sound of water. They hadn't run across any rivers or lakes along the way, and there weren't any buildings around that were more spacious than the nearby holy Wuyong Temple. Therefore, there was only one place they could be. Underground! But that didn't tell them much. This small town wasn't all that small. They were underground, but where exactly? And what about you? Pei Ming asked. I heard you killed over 1,000 nefarious creatures. Everyone's terrified. Congratulations. Well, you can't be the #1 civil god anymore, so why not change careers and join us martial gods? What manner of creature managed to bind you here? Ling Wen laughed bitterly. I don't know what it was either. I accidentally clashed with Lord Rainmaster and was dizzy afterwards, so something took the chance to ambush me from behind. No need to ask me. It'll show itself sooner or later. Just remember not to expose your identity. Just then, a third voice entered their conversation. Pei Ming, Nangong Jie, you nasty couple. You can stop your smug calculations. You think I don't know what's under your fake skins? Who could it be? Chapter 81. Why not Xu Li? Why not Jing Wen? It was a man's voice, one that sounded very foreign. Even though Shalian knew that he couldn't be heard from the other end, he still hushed his voice. Someone else is there. I don't know if he'll harm General Pei. We have to find where they are as soon as possible. The two on the other end seemed completely stunned by the newcomer, and it took a moment for Pei Ming to speak. Might I ask who my lord is? Why hide your face if you've gone this far? You should ask yourself that question, the voice said. They must have a grudge against you, Ling Wen said. Probably another ghost woman you ruined. Keep spouting drivel with your eyes wide open, why don't you? Just which part of this thing looks like a woman? Besides, he didn't just capture me. Maybe he's got a grudge against you. Never mind all that. At a time like this, let's not discuss where the blame lies. Let's overcome this obstacle together, Ling Wen said. It's also possible he's got a grudge against both of us. Do you recall anyone like that? Not specifically. There's too many, Pei Ming said. The man must have approached them as his voice became louder, but strangely there was no accompanying sound of footstep. There was instead a series of odd thumping sounds. Oh, little brother. Can you two be a little less shameless and stop flirting in front of me? He griped. His words and tone seemed to reveal something, and after a brief silence, Ling Wen spoke. You're Jing Wen, Shenjun? The voice didn't respond. Pei Ming seemed to be a little taken aback as well. Jin Wen Junjun? No way! Did Jing Wen Zhenjun ever speak so impolitely? Ling Wen humphed. He's always been like this. He puts on face in front of others and another in front of me. Of course you don't recognize him. On his end, Shalian furrowed his brow. Jing Wen Zhenjun? He thought he could faintly remember the name, but he couldn't be sure. The name sounded like a civil god. There were far too many civil gods who used the same collection of words in their titles: literature, respect, or tranquility. Pei Shou explained in a low voice. Jing Wen Zhenjun was the previous top-ranking civil god who first appointed Ling Wen Zhenjun to the heavens. With this, Shalian finally remembered. The first time he ascended, Ling Wen was still a junior civil official in the lower court, not yet the top-ranking civil god of the upper court, and apparently Jing Wen Zhenjun was the previous number 1. However, Jing Wen had long since declined as a god. There was not a single temple of Jing Wen to be found within a 400-kilometer radius. Everyone knows each other, so why can't we just talk peacefully? Shalian couldn't help but wonder aloud. Must we bring out the weapons and be the rope tight at the... Must we bring out the weapons and the ropes right at the start? It's because everyone knows each other that the knives come first, Hua Chung replied. The words had only just left Hua Chung's lips when Jing Wen spoke again on the other end. Since his identity had been revealed, it seemed he felt the need to put on a front, and he changed his tone to something more polite. Nonetheless, his words were still barbed. Nangong, weren't you pleased with being the top-ranked civil god in the upper court? Why did you break your golden bowl and come running here? Pei Ming piped up. You see, his grudge is against you. It's your fault I got dragged into this. General Pei, Jing Wen continued, don't think that you're off the hook just because I'm seeking vengeance against Nangong. This wench insulted and harassed my worshippers and secretly desecrated my temples of Jing Wen, adding fuel to the fire. but don't think I don't know who loaned her the martial officials who helped her. ... Don't you laugh either, Nangong, Jingwen continued. And to think I appointed you back then because I valued your talent. This is how you repay me, you ungrateful, venomous wench. I've waited for this day for too long. Too long. Shalian covered his forehead with his palm. The 3 tumors certainly live up to their name, each nastier than the last. So yeah, this is like Ling Wen's, like, the guy who used to have Ling Wen's job, and he's an asshole. Unexpectedly, Ling Wen gave a flat reply. Jingwen, Shenjun, there's no one here but us right now, and you've had your say. Why keep up the act? Did you actually appoint me as a deputy official because you valued my talent? Others might not know what really happened, but I'm sure you remember the details. Just why did you appoint me? And do you recall how you treated me afterwards? Shalian was growing more curious the longer he listened. What happened between Jingwen Junjun and Ling Wen? General Pei Jr., do you know the story behind this? Pei Shou was also listening intently. I'm sorry, I had yet to ascend at the time, so I don't know much. His broken sentences are probably beyond saving, Shalian thought. Hua Chung spoke up. Gaga, no need to ask others. Just ask me. Shalian was amazed. Sanlang, you know about Heaven's past scandals too? As it turned out, that was no exaggeration. When it came to the shady history and associated hearsay of every major heavenly official in the upper court, Hua Chung certainly did his homework. He nodded and told Shalian what he knew. The story was this. Jing Wen and Ling Wen were both civil gods born of the kingdom of Shuli. Jing Wen was older than Ling Wen by many centuries, and he had a deep foundation in the kingdom of Shuli. Originally, the two weren't supposed to cross paths. However, one year, the kingdom of Shuli conducted a ceremonial festival to revere and worship the civil gods. As part of the festival, there was a small contest. Young scholars were to compose anonymous essays that would be hung in the kingdom's largest civil god temple, at the time, the palace of Jingwen. The kingdom of Shuli itself was the subject, and the content of the essays was unrestricted. The compositions would be judged by the people, and the best of the bunch would be selected as the winner and afforded much commendation. At the time, Jingwen Shenjun had descended to dally about the mortal realm, and on impulse, he thought it'd be fun to transform into a scholar and join the contest. This is like Adele entering an Adele sing-alike contest and losing. With an easy swing of his brush, he wrote a jaunty, elegant piece, singing praises of the glory in the kingdom of Shuli. He was quite confident that his composition would stand out from the crowd and take first place. He imagined that if he revealed his true form once the results of the contest were revealed, showing all onlookers that the winner was actually a clone of Jingwen Shenjun, surely his story would be passed down as a beautiful tale for future generations. If things had turned out that way, it would have been a happy ending. However, the results were far more awkward. After the ceremony ended and the ranking board was revealed, the winner was not Jing Wen's Ode to Shuli, but a piece of critical political discourse entitled Need Not Shuli. The turn of events might have been awkward, but the bystanders did find it rather interesting. Has Sanlang ever read Need Not Shuli? Shalian inquired. I've flipped through it, Hua Chung said. If Gaga wants to read it, I'll recite a summary for you another time. No, it's okay, Shalian said hurriedly. I imagine it must have been very well written if it defeated the already ascended Jingwen Shenjun. It's not bad, but it wasn't groundbreaking, Hua Chung commented. It's just that the political situation in the kingdom of Shuli wasn't great at the time. The people were full of complaints, so a piece like that matched their tastes. Essays like Ode to Shuli were rampant, and people were tired of them. When comparing the two, naturally, Need Not Shuli won. Shalian gave a light nod. There is no such thing as a number one in literature. It's all subjective. A win like that wouldn't really matter, especially if the content wasn't even similar. Shalian being like, art is subjective. Correct, Hua Chung said. Jing Wen thought so too at first. The people of Shuli looked everywhere for the author of Need Not Shuli, but of course no one claimed it. Who would dare claim such a piece? Those who were greedy for fame and came forward with false claims of authorship were quickly exposed. Soon government officers took notice, and the top-ranking essay was removed from the festival. Jingwen Zhenjun wasn't too pleased with the results of the contest and sniffed at them, but after a few months, he'd forgotten about the whole thing. The tragedy was that after a few months, shocking news spread among the civil gods in the upper court. The individual who had authored Need Not Shuli and won the civil god ceremonial festival of Shuli had been found, arrested, and locked up in prison. And this individual was a young woman who had sold shoes on the streets. How could this be? Unacceptable! A shoe seller? Shalian was amazed. Yes, Hua Chung replied. That's what Nangong Jie did while she was mortal. No wonder he'd heard people of the Palace of Lingwen call it a palace of shitty shoes under their breath on more than one occasion. Since Shalian didn't think it right to inquire about the root of such things, he'd never learned where that term came from. Originally, there was no way anyone would connect Need Not Shuli with a shoe-selling maiden. However, the young woman would sometimes help others scribe letters or poems to make some extra income. One of her commissioners discovered that her writing was similar to the style of that infamous winning essay and reported her, which was how she was eventually caught. How could they do that? After learning of this news, Jingwen Zhenjun immediately appointed the young woman Nangong Jie to the heavens with a swing of his brush. It must be known that the female heavenly official were already few in number at the time. They weren't entirely absent from the heavenly ranks, but most of them oversaw things like flowers and plants, crafts and embroidery, singing and dancing, or other such skills. Even as deputy officials of the lower court, no one wanted to appoint a woman. Female civil gods were rarer still. The women within the temples of civil gods were all identically beautiful, and none of them controlled anything scholarly. They were usually soft, gentle souls who ground ink and set out paper. They were hardly considered real heavenly officials. At most, they were seen as objects to be appreciated. Jingwen Zhenjun's actions garnered praise from other civil gods. Everyone said this young woman had the best of luck for his wise eyes to fall upon her. Not only did she escape the trial of prison, she was able to climb above the trees to become a phoenix, truly a beautiful tale. In reality, the main characters of this beautiful tale were at each other's throats. I thought so highly of you, but you make it sound like I had ill intent, Jingwen accused. Lingwen always treated others politely, never sounding servile nor overbearing, but in that moment, his voice had an air of derision. Please, there's no need for you to go around telling everyone how highly you thought of me. If you really regarded me so highly, you wouldn't have made me serve tea and water to everyone in the palace for so many years. Or maybe wipe tables, walk hundreds of kilometers just to collect poetry manuscripts, and ceaselessly deliver gifts to other heavenly officials on every holiday. Thinking back on it, Shalian thought Lingwen's complaints sounded accurate. Back when he first ascended, Lingwen was always on an errand every time he saw her. It was precisely because she ran so many errands that Shalian was able to vaguely remember such a character. At the end of the day, you were just upset that I refused to promote you, Jingwen retaliated. But did you ever consider why I didn't promote you? Why? Lingwen echoed. I want to know why too. When I was a mortal, I had time to read and write. Even when I was locked up in jail, I could at least face the wall and tranquility reflect. After I was appointed, there wasn't a day I didn't work like a horse for you, running errands for you and prostrating to you like everyone in heaven. Prostrating to you and everyone in heaven. If you had wanted to grind me to death, you couldn't have thought of a better way to do it. It's like he wouldn't let her have any time to write, because she's good at writing, and that's dangerous. Don't let a woman have a thought. Nangong, Jingwen barked. You dare refuse to admit your wrongs even now? And what wrongs have I committed? Lingwen countered. Are you saying it's all my fault? Jingwen demanded. The things I made you do were obviously in your best interest. If you can't even handle such trivial matters, what right do you have to take on more important duties? I gave you so many training opportunities in order to toughen you up. How can you blame me for not promoting you when you were the one lacking in ability? You think too highly of yourself. No matter what, you're still a woman. You can't reach such heights. You have to admit that is the truth. Ling Wen laughed out loud, yet he seemed furious. Very well. His voice dropped. You said I can't reach that high. Then, might I ask, at the highest peak of its prominence, did the palace of Jingwen even reach the knees of today's palace of Lingwen? Boom! Shalian could smell the roiling brew of their past resentment growing thicker, and he didn't think he could let them keep talking much longer. With no other choice, he employed a very brutish method. He punched the ground with a powerful fist. A large crater formed with him at the center, accompanied by a massive boom. Hua Cheng instantly understood what he wanted to do. Gaga! Shalian flapped his hand to disperse the dust in the air and coughed a few times. This is the most direct way. I'll take care of this side. Sanlong, you and General Pei Jr., go lie down over there. He initially wanted Hua Cheng and Pei Shu to try the other direction, but in their current states, he wasn't sure they were capable. But Hua Cheng was hardly going to listen to him and laze around willingly. He positioned himself opposite. Shalian's chosen direction, summoned a Ming, and plunged the blade into the ground. The strike and Shalian's fist both created the same effect. The pair took turns, producing huge noise after huge noise, moving farther and farther away from each other as they went. After pounding it a few times, Shalian stopped to listen. But Pei Ming and Ling Wen didn't react. It looked like they hadn't heard the booming sounds he was creating. As for Jing Wen, Ling Wen had clearly hit him where it hurts. He sneered at the mask of politeness was ripped off, and he returned to the sharp, sour tone he had employed when calling them a nasty couple. Nankongche, don't get cocky just because you've had a taste of success, you little rat. If it wasn't for me appointing you to the heavens, who knows how many men you would have bore spawn for in jail. Now that comment was quite ungentlemanly, and Shalian's hand almost slipped. Even Pei Ming couldn't listen anymore. You were once a civil god. Have a little class. See, Nangong, Jingwen accused. See how your good lover is shielding you. General Pei, who are you to accuse me of being classless? In your mind, who isn't my lover? Lingwen spat. You're looking for retribution. Then let's talk retribution. Shalian had leapt quite a distance by now. He once again slammed the ground, and this time, Jingwen's alarmed voice sounded on the other end of the silver butterfly. What's that noise? Yeah, you know it's bad when Pei Ming is like, hey, keep it classy. Shalian cheered inwardly. Yay! He was headed in the right direction. Pei Ming and Ling Wen both heard too. Did someone start fighting up above? Pei Ming hesitantly wondered. CSCL, oh my gosh, thank you so much for being a member for 17 months. CSCL says, achievement unlocked, backstory of all 3 tumors. Oh, yeah. That's right. This time, Shalian dashed for several meters and landed an even stronger thunderous punch. It's closer now, Pei Ming exclaimed. What destructive power! It came from right above us! He'd found the spot. Shalian didn't throw another punch. Instead, he pulled out Fang Xin and thrust the sword downward. The aura of the sword erupted, and the ground rumbled as it caved in. A moment later, Shalian fell into an eerie underground cave. He silently prayed he hadn't crashed in right over Pei Ming and Ling Wen's heads. He waved away the dust in the air as he rose to his feet, turning around with the sword in hand. Jing! He called. The moment Jing Wen Zhenzhen's figure entered his sight, Shalian's eyes went wide. Jing Wen was alarmed at the sight of an intruder. Who are you? But the one questioning Shalian wasn't actually a man. It was a stone statue of a man, extremely coarsely made, its body bare but wrapped with a cloth. It was bizarre and completely absurd. No wonder there was no sound of footsteps when he walked, only strange thumping sounds. No wonder when Pei Ming and Ling Wen saw him, they were both shocked. And no wonder Pei Ming said Ling Wen was spouting drivel with eyes wide open, because this thing looked absolutely nothing like a female ghost. Pei Ming and Ling Wen were both tied up with what looked like scrolls. They were in Jingwen's clutches and unable to move. Shailian finally snapped out of it. Me? Jingwen asked. You're the Crown Prince of Shanla? Shailian was taken aback. Huh? You actually recognize me? Well, that's truly... But it wasn't really that strange. Shailian's first ascension was an earth-shattering event. He might not have known every upper court heavenly official, but every one of them knew him. And even now, it was the same. He didn't remember Jingwen's original appearance whatsoever, but Jingwen still remembered him. Of course, your highness's journey of godhood had such ups and downs, it'd be difficult not to recognize you. Shailian felt oddly touched. I'm honored. But how did you turn into... How did I turn into this? Jingwen finished for him. Shailian cleared his throat softly and nodded, feeling that his question was a bit impolite. However, Jingwen used this chance to start ranting again. It's all thanks to that wench, Nangong Jie. When the palace of Jingwen declined, my spiritual powers grew progressively weaker, and then she added insult to injury by hunting me down and trying to kill me. In order to survive, I had absolutely no choice but to possess this stone statue. I wasn't that bad compared to you, Lingwen said. You would order me to stay in the palace of Jingwen until midnight, then turn around and tell everyone I stayed behind until late to entice you. Words murder without form. I was much nicer, responding with blatant violence. Ooh, that's a good line. Oh my god. Then Lingwen suddenly kicked out and struck Jingwen's lower body. To Shailian, this move didn't really look like it would do much, since she was kicking a stone statue instead of a fleshy body. It would at most maybe rip a few of the cloths wrapped around Jingwen. Yet unexpectedly, Jingwen let out a tragic wail like he really had been kicked in the gonads, and he hastily covered his lower half. However, it was too late. Lingwen's kick had torn off the layer of white cloth wrapped around his crotch, and Shailian swiftly saw the truth. Under that white cloth, there was nothing. Nothing. In other words, what was supposed to be present in the crotch area of this bare, naked stone statue wasn't. This was a eunuch statue. It's the statue of a eunuch slave, Shailian thought. This sort of stone statue was often found in the graves of the powerful and wealthy. They were burial effects steeped in extremely heavy yin energy, so they were indeed a good choice for possession. But it was extremely ironic that a male heavenly official like Jingwen, who was so small-minded about losing to a woman, would find his final resting place in a stone statue of a eunuch slave. Lingwen burst out laughing, and here I was wondering why you were so worked up. So this is why. You said I can't reach that high? Well, I can't wait to see how high you can reach in your current state. Ha ha ha! Now the cloth covering his shame had been torn off and trampled underfoot. Jingwen was going mad with fury. He grabbed Lingwen's hair and yelled, "Shut up! Who knows how many heavenly officials you slept with to get where you are? What's there to be proud of? Apologize right now!" The yanking nearly tore a large chunk of Lingwen's hair from his head, but he endured the pain without begging for mercy, never mind apologizing. Are you really a civil god? Pei Ming commented with disgust. Such a lack of character and culture. Even shrews on the streets act better than you. Shailian only silently cried his grievances, scared that Jingwen would strangle the two to death on a whim. However, he couldn't help but call out a "Hey!" to gain his attention and raised his hand. Please calm down, Jingwen Zhenju. It actually makes no difference whether you have that or not. Really, it's true. Oh my god. Shailian's like, it really doesn't matter. Jingwen had Lingwen in one hand and the other covering his groin. Lies! He roared. It makes no difference? Why don't you get rid of yours and see? It's true, believe me, Shailian said earnestly. Even though I have that, I might as well not have it at all, because I'm that. He once again sacrificed himself, offering his own person as proof. Hearing this, Jingwen calmed down a bit. You're what? Just that. You understand, Shailian said. And even if I have it, I never use it. Actually, all such things are mere worldly possessions when it comes to male heavenly officials or female heavenly officials or other heavenly officials. It's nothing to be so preoccupied with. Yeah, Hua Chung just like... Jing Wen cut him off. If you don't think it matters, why don't you chop yours off to prove it? Shalian was flummoxed into silence. Didn't you say it makes no difference? Jing Wen pressed. Hypocrite! You obviously are reluctant to lose it, so don't you use that bullshit to cajole me. I'm no youngin' who'll repent in tears just because you've given me a couple of candies. But it's fine if you won't chop yours off. I'll chop off his instead! He gestured towards Pei Ming, who stood there dumbfounded. What the fuck? Well, this was a disaster. While there were plenty of people out there who wanted to cut off General Pei's thing, Shalian hardly wanted Jing Wen to get his way. This is such a fucking hilarious scene. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Pei Ming being like, what the fuck? You want to cut my dick off? Jing Wen Zhenjun, he said hastily. It was wrong for Ling Wen to bully you after your decline, but if you bullied her too, you're technically even. There's no need to go to such extremes. As he tried to talk him into distraction, he secretly released Royer, and it slithered behind Jing Wen like a snake. Even? It's not that simple, Jing Wen countered. But now you've reminded me that there's something I need to grill that wench on. Nangung, did you play a part in the fall of Shuli? Jing Wen was a civil god who was the kingdom of Shuli had placed on the holy altar, which meant that Shuli was his foundation. If the foundation was destroyed, he would of course be affected and potentially go into decline. Also, there is a picture here. Thus it was reasonable for Jing Wen to suspect Ling Wen. But after he posed the question, Ling Wen kept his lips sealed and refused to answer. Just fess up! Did you do it? Jing Wen yelled. I just know it was you! It must have been you! Otherwise the kingdom wouldn't have fallen so fast! It's all this insidious bitch's fault! That idiot general must have fallen into your hands! Ling Wen hasn't even responded and you're answering your own questions, Shalian thought. Wait, what? Which general? Ling Wen started snickering under his breath. Had Jing Wen not been possessing a statue with completely immobile face, he would have been gritting his teeth. What are you laughing about? Ling Wen lifted his head slightly to give a light-hearted reply. Do you know the consequences for calling him an idiot to his face? Jing Wen hadn't yet grasped the situation when the scroll binding Ling Wen suddenly ripped apart. Amidst the whirling shreds, a hand emerged from within Ling Wen's black sleeves and seized Jing Wen by the head. Jing Wen hadn't had the chance to speak a word when he was subdued. A crack appeared upon his coarsely hewn face, and another, then another. With 3 cracking sounds, his entire body shattered. As for Ling Wen, he had broken free of his bonds and stood in the place, enveloped by streams of black qi that emanated from within. A pile of crumbled stone lay at his feet. It turned out ancient kingdom in the legend of the Brocade Immortal was Shuli, and Bai Jing was also a citizen of that land. Shalian was just organizing his thoughts when he heard Pei Ming, who was still tightly bound by the scroll, speak up. Ling Wen, stop. Yeah, the picture makes more sense now. That's weird that it was on that page. Ling Wen had turned around and was stalking towards him, step by step. Remembering that Ling Wen had told Pei Ming that the Brocade Immortal really didn't like him, Shalian thought, oh no, is he going to kill him? Ling Wen tried to appease him as he walked. Bai Jing, he's already dead. It's all nonsense. None of it was true. But it wasn't working. Ling Wen addressed Pei Ming. Old Pei, I have no way to stop him. He heard Jing Wen say you're my lover, and he steeled his mind to kill you. Your Highness, lend me a hand. Only got a couple pages left. Okay, we got it. We can do it. 3 more pages. No need to ask. Shalian had already swung his sword and slashed through the scroll, binding Pei Ming, who jumped to his feet. The two leapt out of the underground cave, returning to the ground above. Looking back into the cave, they saw that Ling Wen had punched right into the rock where Pei Ming had been sitting. His strength was considerable, and debris flew. The punch was even stronger than Shalian's strikes when he was hammering the ground to scout for them. Shalian tucked Royer away by wrapping it around his forearm, and Pei Ming worked out the kinks in his wrist. After being bound for so long, the swelling on his hand had gone down somewhat. It now looked like he'd been stung by 500,000 hornets instead of 1,000,000. What is this fucking injustice? He started. But before he could even finish, Ling Wen appeared right in front of him in a flash. The two exchanged a blow and were both pushed a few meters back. Shalian and Pei Ming exchanged a look. The situation was too complicated, so they bolted. Shalian turned his head and yelled behind him as he ran. Ling Wen, can you try to talk to General Bai again? Ling Wen was hot on their tail. I tried, but he doesn't believe me anymore. It must be because he's hurt that you lied to him, Pei Ming shouted. Ling Wen, Shalian cried. Can you change back to your female form? The destructive power will be reduced in a woman's body. No, Ling Wen answered. Why not? He won't let me, Ling Wen replied. I get it, Pei Ming said. The bastard's afraid of clinging to a woman's body. What a wimp! Rumble. A roof came crushing towards them, almost crushing Shalian and Pei Ming. I didn't throw that, Ling Wen cried. It's your fault for insulting him. Now he's even madder. You're both in danger. Huh? What's it got to do with me? I've said nothing, Shalian cried hastily. Ling Wen, can you tell him to count me out of it, please? Better to count you in. It's easier with more people to shoulder the burden, Pei Ming yelled. Your Highness, where's little Pei? The State Preceptor Banue, your Crimson Rain sought flower. Your Crimson Rain sought flower? Don't count on them showing up. They went in the other direction to search for you two, Shalian yelled back. We've already covered over 12 kilometers. Run first, talk later. He's absorbed over 1,000 nefarious creatures. It wouldn't be smart to face him head on right now. Hey, bear. Yet unexpectedly, just as the words left his lips, his feet went light as his entire body was hoisted up. And not just him, Pei Ming was caught too. As he looked around, he realized that they'd both been captured by a large net and were now hanging in the air. What an unexpected disaster. The net must have been made of some special material, and bare hands couldn't rip it apart. One of 200 ferocious, savage-faced ghosts and Yao jumped out from the woods all around them, clapping in joy. Caught them! Ha ha ha! How many is this now? This trap is so good! Let's see what we caught. How many heads? They had paid no attention to the road they'd followed during their panicked escape, and in a moment of carelessness, they had fallen into a trap set by these third-rate minions. Shalian reached for Fang Xin to slash through the net, but when he found his back empty, he realized that Fang Xin had fallen from his grip when he was yanked up. Ling Wen had already chased them to the net, and Fang Xin lay at his feet. The mob of little minions hadn't yet realized what approached, and they were overjoyed. Another one! Ling Wen raised his hands, and 2 balls of black ghost fire ignited in his palms. He looked up to address Shalian and Pei Ming. You two, this really isn't up to me. Shalian puffed a breath. Ling Wen, can I ask what will happen if we're hit by those? Last time I used ghost fires that big, I was attacking His Highness Qi Ying. He was injured, but it wasn't too bad. He could still hop around and run. It sounded like the damage wouldn't be severe. Even if they were both hit, their injuries wouldn't be too dire. Shalian and Pei Ming both sighed in relief. Thank goodness. But as soon as he said that, the ghost fire in Ling Wen's hands suddenly erupted to 10 times its original size, into 2 giant pillars of flame blazing into the skies. Not yet, bear. Shalian was speechless. Pei Ming was also speechless. But if you get hit by flames of this size, I can't say how things will turn out, Ling Wen said. Wait, I'm really not your lover, though, Pei Ming roared. I know that, but it doesn't matter if we're the only ones who believe it, Ling Wen exclaimed. The nefarious creatures were startled by the blazing ghost fires, and they quickly drew their weapons. They shouted with arrogant indignation as they circled Ling Wen. You bastard! You've got guts trying to steal our kill when you're about to die yourself! Get him! However, pathetic little minions like these posed no threats to the Rocade immortal. They were nothing but another round of fresh nourishment. Lingwen inclined his head slightly, his eyes reflecting the vibrant light of the ghost fires. He looked quite ready to receive a set of new heads from those who were eager to sacrifice themselves. At that moment, a wild whirlwind blew by. In the blink of an eye, the mob of little minions was blown into the sky with a chorus of terrified wails. Rather than being tossed skyward by the wind, it was more like an invisible giant hand had snatched them into the air. PC, thank you so much for joining my membership. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, PC. Thank you. The Rocade Immortal seemed to have sensed something that alarmed it. The ghost fires blazing in Lingwen's hands calmed as he scanned the surrounding area. Shalian looked up with arduous effort, but the dense tree cover blocked his view. The wails of those ghosts had come to an abrupt stop, so he couldn't figure out what had happened above. Pei Ming was alarmed. "Who's here?" Ever alert and watchful, Shalian suddenly said, "Do you smell that?" "What?" Pei Ming asked. "The scent of flowers," Shalian replied. Pei Ming was confused. "Flowers?" Shalian closed his eyes. A moment later, he said with conviction, "Yes, it's the scent of flowers." It was mellow, peculiar, fresh, and cool. He didn't know the name of the bloom, nor its source. It was exceedingly light, exceedingly soft, and so faint it was as if it weren't even there. Pei Ming furrowed his brow. "I don't smell flowers, but I definitely smell..." Before he could finish, he felt something drip onto his face. He wiped it with his hand without thinking, and his pupils shrank. It was blood. A few drops fell onto the ghost fire in Lingwen's hands, and the flame's intensity instantly weakened. His expression grew even more apprehensive, and his head shot up. Right at that moment, a torrential rain of blood fell from the heavens. Pei Ming was hanging higher than Shalian, and the blood deluge drenched him until he was like a red-dyed drowned rat, leaving only a pair of eyes that were black and white, round and bulging. The ghost fire in Lingwen's hands was completely extinguished, and he scurried under a tree to avoid the same fate as the defenseless Pei Ming. As for Shalian, he felt the net tear in his body drop, and he plunged downward. He flipped in the air as he fell, and landed steadily just as the bloody rain was about to descend upon him. There was no time to dodge, so Shalian raised his sleeve to block as much as he could. After things went dark, he heard the soft, low rumble of laughter. The air was awash in mysterious, alluring fragrance of blossoms. Shalian lifted his head and looked up. He didn't feel any raindrops hitting his face. Instead, something soft gently brushed past him. He reached out and caught it. Looking down, the thing that had quietly fluttered into the heart of his palm was a small, vibrant red flower petal. He looked up once more, and his breath hitched. He couldn't believe it. The bloody rain that had darkened the skies had been transformed into a shower of fluttering flower petals. There was no need to guess who had come. Shalian curled his fingers to clutch the flower petal as the name blurted from his lips. Sanlang! He turned around and saw that Lingwen had fallen soundlessly to the ground. A tall, slender young man stood there, chuckling softly. With hair of raven black and robes of crimson red, he could be none other than Hua Cheng. Blossoms fell like blood, blood danced like petals on the wind. His face was as spirited and handsome as the first time they met, and his eye was as bright and lively. He languidly sheathed that long, slender silver scimitar and spoke with a deep voice. "Your Highness, I'm back." Boom! He's back, baby! That's so cool. He didn't let a drop of blood touch Gaga. Thank you for donating, Orion. All Hua Cheng does is aura farm, literally, yes. That was so romantic. I love that he never ever lets Shalian get touched by the rain. Aww. Oh, Sugar Kiss, thank you so much for sending 5 ghost flames to us. Thank you so much, Sugar Kiss. Aw, we get to see Kate's beautiful art. Look at them and the butterflies. They're so cute. Thank you so much, Sugar Kiss, and welcome Snow Rivera, Strawberry Kai, Isol D, Lara, and Chris Plants for Hua Chung. Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome, Sugar Kiss. Thank you. That's awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that chapter. I definitely didn't remember any of that. I feel like probably the first time I read that I was just so confused and I just kept reading on, you know? A refreshing new chapter indeed. Wizard of Moss says fully 0% of that I remembered, right? Sugarkiss says the plot still confused me. Basically, it's like Ling Wen was poor and sold shoes, and they lived in a place called Shuli. And Jing Wen was like masterful writer guy, and he ascended. And then they were the kingdom of Shuli was like, we're gonna do a writing contest, and he was like, I'm gonna enter the contest and win because that'll be so hilarious. But he didn't win because the people were tired of praising Shuli. And Ling Wen, who wrote one about being like, fuck Shuli, actually, and it was all like political, won. And then Jing Wen brought her up to the heavens and then made her work like a dog, and basically so she could never write again. And then spread rumors and made it sound like she was a whore and just like made her have the worst time ever. And then Jing Wen now is accusing her of making the kingdom of Shuli fall because that means he would lose his powers. And then when he lost his powers, he transformed into a statue of a eunuch. And now he's caught Ling Wen. However, Ling Wen is currently possessed by Bai Jing, who was the guy that has like mental problems. And Ling Wen was kind of nice to him and he was like in love with her, but she also made him cut off all his limbs. It's super fucking weird. So now Bai Jing is just going psycho mode, and I saw a couple of you guys being like, why is this in the book? And I think it's basically, I think everything is supposed to be a foil to Hualien, that, you know, like Hua Chung is Shalian's loyal believer, but he's not just like a mindless attack dog. And like Bai Jing is like this mindless attack dog who's so devoted to Ling Wen, but he's like killing people for her and he's going against her wishes and stuff. Bear says it's here so Hua Chung can aura farm his way back. No problem. I love doing little like plot recaps after I finished reading, because by tomorrow I'll forget it. Literally wearing him like a t-shirt. Yeah, and then he is the brocade immortal whenever that is brought up. Like, I didn't know what a brocade is, but it's like a robe, right? Like it's like a literal piece of clothing. And I feel like Ling Wen's plight is just kind of like a classic showing once again that the heavenly gods are all fucking assholes, and this is leading up to a big plot point coming up. You know, it's like we just saw this another mural that's of like, oh, there's the dirty little commoners, and then there's the gods, and then the new cultivator or whatever. And what have we learned throughout this entire plot is that the gods are all fucking assholes. So I think that the brocade, immortal, and Ling Wen stuff parallels Hua Chung's devotion to Shalian, and how it's not just like a blind devotion. It's not like how like Hua Chung's just not going around killing people on a whim. He's not jealous. He's not like killing people that he thinks Shalian might have had flings with or whatever. And I think Ling Wen suffering the injustice that like most women do, even in the modern day, was to prove that like once again the gods in heaven are actually assholes and not special at all. Kate says Hua Chung is a good balance of gooner and normal guy. Why did Ling Wen kill the kill the Brocade Immortal? So what we've learned so far is that he was so devoted to her. She was like, "Oh yeah, chop off your arms then." I don't think Hua Chung's too perfect. I think he's got some flaws. It's good. I love him. Night Owl says brocade is a class of richly decorative shuttle woven fabrics featuring elaborate raised patterns, often made of colored silks and woven with gold or silver threads. Oh, okay. It's commonly used for evening wear, upholstery, and drapery. I see, I see. Kate says his biggest flaw is not enough Gaga cream. That's true. Jay says, I think that's just my personal preference. I like flawed characters because they are more human and relatable. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the whole book. Everybody's so flawed. So it's like Hua Chung. I guess, you know, Hua Chung is like the perfect guy. But the funny thing is that he's the king of the underworld, you know? Like, you think, it's like you imagine him, you have these ideas of him being underhanded and sly and doing bad things, but actually he isn't. Like, if he was Shaelian and never did anything wrong, and, like, Shaelian was actually a demon, then I feel like it would be a little bit more basic. But since it's like he's coming from, I mean, he does let people do fucked up shit in his gambling realm, at least. If you go back to the illustration of the mural, you can see Guoshi. Oh, yeah, Guoshi. I fucking love Guoshi. He's even fucking playing cards. He's like holding cards. Yeah, Moss, that's true too. Yeah, I think the setup and in the next part too, as they get deeper into Mount Tonglu, it's like you are like, is he like gonna be fucking weird about Shaelian? Like, is he going to be normal? Anyways, I gotta head out to dinner. Thank you guys for coming to hang out. Tomorrow there'll be no stream, but we'll get back to reading on Wednesday. I really am really enjoying this part because I don't remember it that well, so everything feels so new. And I also really like reiterating stuff with the chat, and like the fact that we can clarify shit with each other is really good. Yeah, I hope you guys had a good day, and I will see you guys Wednesday, not tomorrow. Okay, bye, love you.